Meow?
Ever since the Sonic movie sped into our lives, we've been left theorizing on what that mid-credits scene meant and how Tails will fit into the sequel. We will look at some of the theories, the hints, and comments made from the writers themselves as to what to expect for the two-tailed fox, including parallels to the MCU, possible voice actors to play the part, and how Tails could expand the Sonic universe. So put on your best running shoes and get ready to dash through the world of Sonic. One of the first questions off the bat is, do Sonic and Tails know each other? For anyone who doesn't know, Tails is effectively the Luigi to Sonic's Mario, with them being best friends. But is that so in the movie? While the scene revealed that Tails does know who Sonic is, do they know each other on a personal level? The movie gave no hints to the fact that the two knew each other in Sonic's previous life. The opening sequence focuses on Sonic's childhood and the fact that we don't see him interacting with anyone other than Longclaw, suggesting the two do not know each other. Originally, the writers did plan to have Tails play a big part in the first movie, but eventually opted not to. But that could hint that the two have a prior relationship. If they don't know each other, how will the two respond to one another? While they are destined to become best friends and Sonic isn't exactly an introvert,
Road trip? Whoop whoop!
will they get on from the get-go, or does Tails have a secret agenda we are not privy to? As we mentioned earlier, we don't get to see much of Sonic's earlier life or much of his home planet, but if Sonic and Tails do have a prior relationship, could flashbacks be a way of expanding the Sonic universe? These scenes give us more of an understanding of Sonic's early life as well as the mythology of the world, which to people who are not knowledgeable of the Blue Hedgehog could serve as a welcome education. It could also add character development and give the audience a look into a window into how Sonic came to be. Flashbacks could also expand Sonic's relationship with his guardian, Longclaw, who serves as a maternal figure for Sonic. All of these potential scenes can add to a rich backstory for Sonic, and finding out more information about the Blue Hedgehog's past is a tasty prospect. The Sonic writers have been keeping their cards understandably close to their chest in regards to what the sequel will hold, and obviously how Tails will play a part, but they did reveal one interesting tidbit of information. When they realized that Tails will not be playing a prominent part in the first movie, they figured that they could have him play an important part at the end of the movie, getting fans excited for a sequel, just like we are now, so I guess it worked. The writers even likened Tails to the Sonic equivalent of the MCU's Nick Fury.
Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And while we're not expecting to see Tails donning an eye patch anytime soon, there may be more to this than meets the eye. Not only can Tails be used as a method of generating excitement, but also to tie in the universe and connect Sonic and the human characters, such as Tom and Maddy, into the wider universe. And while Sonic may be the most recognizable character on the slate, that doesn't mean that there isn't a plethora of characters out there. One of the things that we are yet to ponder is, why does Tails actually show up in Montana in the first place? Tails has a great sense of urgency in his voice and seems flustered, and it's obviously very important that he finds Sonic, but why? Well, one theory is that Tails bears a message from a character that we've mentioned earlier, Longclaw. Last time we saw Longclaw, she was holding off the ensuing Echidna tribe who were hunting Sonic. While the future didn't necessarily look rosy for her, we never saw what happened to her. And if her character's death doesn't happen on screen, it's best not to assume that they are actually dead. In theory, Longclaw could be very much alive, and it is completely possible that she sent Tails to find Sonic, as she knew that Sonic would either be on Earth or the Mushroom Planet. But what could be so urgent, and why would Longclaw be looking for Sonic, especially if he is still being hunted by the Echidna tribe? Why would she risk Sonic being found, unless Sonic is needed somewhere? Every hero needs a great villain, and that was provided in the Sonic movie in the form of Dr. Robotnik, played brilliantly by Jim Carrey.
Don't hurt him!
The last time we saw him, he was marooned on the Mushroom Planet, sporting the character's signature mustache and talking to a rock. Hey man, we've all been there. So things didn't look good for him. But luckily for the Eggman, he still did have one of Sonic's quills and a burning desire to escape the planet and exact revenge on his new mortal enemy Sonic, meaning that he will likely be in the sequel. Carrey already seems excited at the prospect, saying that he would be happy to play the character again, and that the character's arc is far from finished. He even pitched the idea that he would wear a fat suit for the sequel, so the character would be more in keeping with Robotnik's egg-shaped figure he has in the games. Carrie even gave the idea that the fluctuation in weight comes from an allergic reaction to mushrooms. If he does escape Mushroom Planet even crazier than before, it could be dangerous for not only Sonic but his homeworld, and that could be the reason Sonic is being sought out. Seeing Carrie going full Eggman could be something to look forward to, especially if Robotnik's savior comes in the form of another familiar character. As we mentioned earlier, Robotnik isn't the only villain hunting Sonic. With the Echidna tribe on the hunt for Sonic, could Tails be there to warn Sonic that they have tracked him down and that they plan to send an emissary from their tribe to get him? That emissary, of course, being Knuckles. For all those who are unaware, Knuckles is a red echidna who is initially a villain turned friend, and while Knuckles has not been confirmed to appear in the sequel, it makes sense that he will eventually make an appearance in the series. In fact, it could even be Knuckles that rescues Robotnik from the Mushroom Planet with the two teaming up, as Robotnik manipulates Knuckles to track down the blue blur. Knuckles could also lead Robotnik to Sonic's homeworld, with Robotnik sending Knuckles to Earth to track the Hedgehog down, leaving Tails to warn Sonic that the Echidnas have tracked him down. Knuckles' inclusion in the world feels inevitable, and Tails would be the perfect vessel to introduce Sonic to other characters. As we mentioned earlier, Tails might not just connect Sonic to other characters, but to his homeworld. But instead of doing this just through flashback, he could do this in the present and combine Sonic's past life with his current one. We are talking, of course, about Sonic's human friends, Tom and Maddy, played by James Marsden and Tika Sumpter, respectively. A lot of the action took place on Earth in the first movie, but if Sonic's homeworld is in danger, either at the hands of Robotnik, the Echidnas, or another unknown force, it's highly likely that a majority of the action will happen outside of planet Earth. With Sonic and the Donut Lord Tom becoming best buds by the end of the movie, it makes sense that he and Maddy could potentially enter through a portal created by Tails and help Sonic fight whatever forces lie in wait. It is highly unlikely that the characters will not return, so having themselves step even further outside their comfort zone makes perfect sense. But we'll just have to wait and see if James Marsden and his blue steel eyes make it off-world. We have already discussed Sonic and the links to the MCU, but could Sonic 2 set up an Avengers-style fight scene? Avengers Endgame is filled with iconic moments and awesome battle scenes, with one of the standout scenes being the moment the original Avengers, Iron Man, Cap, and Thor facing off against Thanos in a fistfight. That scene lives long in the memory of fans, and it makes sense that it would inspire other movies too, such as Sonic. Like Thanos, Robotnik's return is inevitable. See what we did there? Okay, yeah. And there's a possibility that we could see him facing off against Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles if the latter is to be included in the sequel. Sonic may have conquered his foe already, but it stands to reason that Robotnik will come back bigger, probably literally, and badder in this sequel, and will end up being much more of a gloveful for Sonic, with him needing help to take the Doctor down, and it would be a perfect climax for the movie. One thing that is almost guaranteed to happen is that Tails' flying skills will be utilized at some point. While Sonic runs at supersonic speeds,
You want to get fast? Let's get fast.
Tails has the power of flight through his, well, as you guessed it, double tails. With them acting as a sort of propeller, it's unlikely that the studio will put them in there for no reason, and it is highly likely that we'll see Tails using his flight for the crew's advantage at some point in the sequel. While the character's flying ability was not showcased until the third Sonic game, the filmmakers decided to display it from the get-go, not only expanding the Sonic world, but sowing the seeds for this flight ability will be an important feature. But more than just the physical power to fly, Tails also has pilot skills and mechanical knowledge, so if the movie does spend an extensive amount of time on Earth, expect them to come into play at some point. In the scene, Tails may already have a voice actor, with the animated show and modern Sonic games' voice artist Colleen O'Shaughnessy voicing Tails in the movie as well.
He's here. I found him.
But it's highly likely that Paramount will replace O'Shaughnessy with a more high-profile actor, just like they did with Sonic, with the game and show actor Roger Craig Smith being replaced by Ben Schwartz. It'll be interesting to see which route Paramount decides to go, and how they want to portray their new major character, but as of right now, we are yet to see if a replacement will indeed be brought in, or if they decide to stick with the original voice of O'Shaughnessy. But it does beg the question, who would you have voice Sonic's faithful companion and why? Personally, I would go with Danny DeVito, but that's basically my answer for everything. Until we actually get confirmed answers as to what Sonic 2 will actually look like, I am predicting a Danny D voice to Tails and Sonic heading down to the beach together munching on rum-ham, but that's just my theory. What are your theories for the sequel? How do you think Tails will fit in? And do you want to see other Sonic characters added to the mix? Let us know in the comments below and make sure to subscribe for more Sonic content.